Hello and welcome to the webinar Airlock Gateway 8.5. I am Michael Dujak and I have with me Stefan Dietiker. We're both product managers for the Airlock Gateway, and we're happy to introduce you to the new features that release 8.5 will bring with it. On the agenda, we'll first take a look at the Airlock Anomaly Shield, and then I'll hand over to Stefan, who's going to introduce the new gateway features, and he'll also talk about some discontinued features in the Airlock Gateway. So let's get started with the Anomaly Shield. As you know, this is the component that is proven protection against unknown attackers and automated attacks. And once again, we've improved the way on how we handle such attackers. In the current gateway 8.4, the session behavior analysis today basically takes behavior data from the session, it takes its machine learning models, and it combines those and assesses the session. And based on the assessment, triggers will be raised or not, and this will execute actions that may lead to a block of an IP address or a termination of a session. What is special here is that every session actually starts with a clean slate, and that's really not the truth because we have a history of those IP addresses that have already connected to your gateway, and you could use that history. And exactly that's what's changing with Gateway 8.5. Instead of starting with a clean slate, we're now having an IP address memory, and we're using that memory to give additional input into the assessment of the session. So with the additional memory, we get quite a few advantages. Number one is, if we already know that the reputation of the IP address is bad, then we can come to much faster decisions. Instead of evaluating a session after 15 requests, we've reduced that to 5 requests, and we've also made the models more aggressive if the reputation is bad. We're actually reducing the threshold, so it's easier for a model to decide that a session is bad, and triggers are executed much more easily, which means that also actions are executed much more easily. Now, the way we've implemented it is just an influence on existing models. So there's new model, there's nothing new to configure. It's seamless and it's under the hood. And we've also made sure that good behavior beats bad reputation. What does that mean? If, for example, you have an ISP and an IP address was assigned to one system and that system was behaving badly, it was sending out injection attacks, things like that, then it's got a very bad reputation. Now that IP address, because an ISP switches over to a regular user and they want to connect to your website and log in there. So the good behavior of the proper user will still beat the bad reputation. So regardless of the bad reputation, only bad behavior will be detected much faster. Good behavior will not be penalized, and we don't have an increase in false positives. Last but not least, and maybe the best information of them all, no configuration is required. This feature is strictly under the hood. It just applies as soon as you deploy Gateway 8.5. Your Anomaly Shield will profit from the IP reputation memory, and it will be much more effective for it. So that was it from my side. Thank you very much. And I'll be handing over to Stefan now, and he's going to talk about gateway features.
Thank you, Mike, for the latest insights about Airlock Anomaly Shield. I'd like to continue about other features of Airlock Gateway 8.5. We upgraded the OpenSSL library to version 3.5. What features are new in this version? OpenSSL 3.5 brings post-quantum cryptography algorithms. Aside from that, it is the latest long-term support version and will be maintained until 2030 by the upstream project. Our tests with HSM Encipher and Luna were successful. Nevertheless, we suggest to test before going into production. As a reminder, the support for Airlock Gateway 8.4 ends in August 2026. This is slightly earlier than normal. The reason is because the OpenSSL version used in this gateway release reaches end of life by that date. As mentioned in my previous slide, post-quantum cryptography algorithms are now available to all our gateway customers. We follow the principle of secure by default, which is why these new ciphers are enabled in Airlock Gateway. These new ciphers will be negotiated automatically if a client supports them. This way, the risk of harvest now, decrypt later is reduced. We were running POCs with selected customers and partners since Q1 2024. During this time, we observed the performance of the new ciphers and did not see any negative impact. Anyway, disabling the post-quantum cryptography algorithms is possible and documented in the Gateway manual. The new ciphers are not only active for front-end connections, but also for back-end connections. Whether they are used or not depends solely if the backend supports these ciphers. A standard format for post-quantum safe certificates is still under development. Once a standard becomes widely accepted, we will integrate support for this format. Please note the key exchange is hybrid, combining both classical cryptography algorithms and post-quantum secure mechanism to ensure security against both classical and post-quantum attacks. The TLS key exchange groups are locked in the TLS SES start log message and available in env cookies and rewrite variables. This enables visibility into quantum safe usage. The add-on Tomcat is disabled if there wasn't a Java application deployed. When updating from a previous gateway version, the add-on Tomcat is updated to the latest Tomcat 9 version if WAR files were deployed. Otherwise, the add-on Tomcat is removed during the gateway update. If desired, the add-on Tomcat can be installed later manually on the console. Currently, the add-on Tomcat is available in the version 9 and 11. In the next gateway release, it is only possible to install the add-on Tomcat version 11. Customers which are using the add-on Tomcat must upgrade their WAR files or deploy the applications externally. Our ICAP SDK and SOAP filter is updated and can be deployed in Tomcat 11. The Automatic Certificate Management Environment, or in short, ACME, is a communication protocol for automating interactions between certificate authorities and servers. It allows to deploy and renew certificates at low cost. The feature set of ACME has been extended in Gateway 8.5 and made it more powerful. The new gateway release has been enriched with the challenge type DNS01. This is used to request certificates for domains not exposed to the public internet. To meet customer requirements, we designed the solution as flexible as possible. During a DNS01 challenge, a script is triggered to create the DNS text entry at your DNS provider. This script can be configured and connected with an ACME service. In the SSL tab of the virtual host, the challenge type DNS01 could be selected. These are all required settings in the virtual host. Everything else is configured globally. The ACME configuration menu contains everything around the automatic certificate management. First, the required ACME service must be configured. If desired, the predefined Let's Encrypt service can be used. The DNS Provider tab provides an overview and allows to add or edit providers. Environment variables could be defined and used within the uploaded scripts. In the DNS Provider Selection tab, the default DNS provider is configured. If more than one DNS provider is used, a configuration per domain suffix is possible to select the desired DNS provider. The capability to configure the parser has been improved. Now it's much simpler to configure parsing exceptions. Airlock Gateway blocks requests if the wrong content type header is sent for the body. Nevertheless, sometimes the application or API cannot be changed, and such requests should be allowed. Now, exceptions for such requests can be configured in the Configuration Center. It is also possible that the content type header is wrong, but a specific parser should be selected. By doing so, the application works and security can be increased. The content parsing rules are in the Advanced tab of the mapping. The first three content type patterns define which parser should be applied. The first rule shows an exception. For this request, the parser is disabled, which means all security filters, like deny rules or limits, do not filter this request. The second rule shows that the JSON parser is always applied no matter what the value of the content type header is. Gateway 8.5 supports PXE-based installation. The product received some improvements to make an unintended installation possible. The Gateway manual has been updated and describes the necessary steps for a PXE-based installation. Since many years, we are running a bug bounty program on HackerOne, where hackers from around the globe can attack web applications and APIs through Airlock Gateway. They report their findings, which helped us to improve the deny rules and filters. There are some discontinued features I like to mention. The Microsoft mapping templates, Exchange 2016 and 2019, SharePoint 2016 and 2019, and WebDAV have reached end of life. The reason for this are Microsoft has discontinued support for Exchange Server 2016 and 2019 as of October 14th, 2025. The support for SharePoint 2016 and 2019 ends on July 14th, 2026. Many customers migrating to OneDrive or similar solutions instead of WebDAV. Customers who previously used these mapping templates can continue to protect their Microsoft applications. However, no new templates will be released for these products. We also decided to discontinue the Airlock Splunk app. I'd like to thank you for your attention and say goodbye.